One of the things that I'm learning about the woman who was delivering DoorDash, and it was alleged that the man was being sexually inappropriate. One of the things that that post has really taught me and sort of opened up my eyes about is the fact that there is a lot of people out there who are really deviant in their thinking process. There's a lot of people that are willing to go to bat for people who are sexually inappropriate, people who are bordering, being rapists and other things like that. And it's very scary. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse, as well as those who have been perpetrators of abuse and other violent crimes, including sex offenses. I worked with for a number of years. And one of the things that I wanted to come on here and talk with you all about today is some of the concerns that I have around, videos that suggest sexually inappropriate behavior, and the number of excuses that people are coming up with to defend sexual deviancy. And it is highly concerning. And I don't know if it's all women, men, or, profile pics, profile names don't mean anything, because a lot of people it can take on a fake profile. But what is concerning is the number of people that are arguing over sexual deviancy. Even in my comments, I've gotten things from like a man, the man's penis wasn't hard. She was a voyeur, all kinds of just crazy sort of rhetoric. She broke the law. He didn't do anything. He was in his own home. It wasn't assault. It wasn't sexual assault or things like that. And I'm here to tell you that indecent exposure is sexual assault. It is considered to be a serious offense, even with men and women who are incarcerated. When I worked in prison, if a man indecently exposed himself, that is a serious offense that they can get in trouble for. And they have to go before committee and all of, and get discipline and things like that. That's some serious business. And I don't think people will try to dismiss and say it's not sexual assault. It is sexual assault. And don't take Dr. Jones's word for it. You can Google it and see. Google will tell you. So it's highly concerning about that. But just because someone doesn't have an erect penis when they indecently expose themselves does not mean that they're not doing anything. Imagine if someone does that to a small child, because that's the same BS that a lot of sex offenders used to tell me when they do it in front of a children, or do it in front of a public playground or in front of a public school. I was drunk. It wasn't hard. That kind of stuff like that. That is a crime. So imagine if it got done to your child. Imagine if a teacher did it, and this is the kind of stuff that I would see and hear every day. So you guys better think twice about that before you hop on the internet and sort of defend defend someone who is indecently exposing themselves. It could very easily happen to your daughter, your son, any small child in your family, your wife, your mother, anything like that. But it is a crime. And, people who are doing this, if they're doing this publicly in any capacity, it doesn't matter if they're in their home, because what happens when they're in the doctor's office, which it also happens quite a bit there as well. I'm here to tell you, I've seen it firsthand when people do that kind of stuff and they get in all types of legal trouble for it. What happens if they do it in your therapist's office? What happens when they do it on the airplane? Because people do it there quite a bit as well. Or in any capacity in the hotel, when they know that housekeeping or room service and stuff like that is coming. These people know what they're doing, and they're hoping that you won't call them out on it. But guess what? when you don't call them out on it, they escalate. I cannot tell you this enough time. They escalate because the next time they're not going to be just sitting there on the couch. The next time they're going to feel emboldened enough to grab somebody. And the next time after that, they're going to feel emboldened enough to go ahead and rape somebody. And I don't mean to be, triggering or things like that. But I want to tell you guys, some of the rhetoric that I'm hearing online is what you're actually hearing and what you're actually seeing is you're actually seeing rapists in action. You're actually seeing people who condone rape. You're actually seeing people who maybe have done this. You're actually seeing people who maybe want to try it and see what they can get away with. By poisoning and putting out dangerous rhetoric, you're hearing and seeing in real time in these comments people that want to do it or that have done it and have used these excuses. And that is something I'm willing to take a gamble on and bet on. And so you want to be careful with that because, at the end of the day, whatever happens with this DoorDash video is whatever happens, but you're still going to be left with these comments that are defending sexually inappropriate behavior. And people are really telling you what they really think about it. They're telling you how they would handle it if it was a family member that came to them for help. They're telling you about maybe some of their own dark, deviant thoughts, because I'm inclined to believe that projection is really their unconscious, that they've become emboldened to type about and write about when they feel like they're anonymous behind a keyboard. Watch out for that because some of these people are extremely dangerous and they're telling on themselves.